What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. And before a new episode of Pink Sips comes out a little bit later today, I wanted to talk about the final Madden 22 franchise title update that dropped about 20 minutes ago. We're going to break it down, and, it's the last update. This is the last one we're getting before we slowly box out Madden 22 and get ready for the Madden 23 season. Now, I will say right now, before we even get into it, if you're looking this is your first time hearing about the update, it's better than the March one. The March one took forever to wait for. We got our hopes way too high. You know, the first title update here that added in the brand new scouting and all that stuff really spoiled all future title updates. And then there was that drama about, like, did Madden cancel the title updates and yada, yada, yada. But the March update was very bad. Like, it's one of those things where not a lot of self-awareness having this be the update. I mean, we got new scenarios for franchise mode, which was definitely planned. You know what I'm saying? The scenarios in franchise mode is clearly content drip. You know, they have a big pool of scenarios and like, all right, we're going to schedule to release these unreleased ones throughout the year. Like, that's what it is. It makes sense, trying to combat all the people that say Madden Ultimate Team gets all these updates. How come franchise doesn't get updates? To combat that, they make franchise a live service and they're going to add new scenarios and stuff like that. And that's what we got in this update. That's what we got in the brand new update, which I will show you that as well. But the fact that we waited forever and then we basically got like a patch. It wasn't a content title update. We got a patch. And they didn't really fix anything in this last one. They fixed like scenario, like things. There's not too many people that play more Madden than me. And like every time there's these bugs, I don't see them. You know what I'm saying? Like they fixed an issue with the 5th year option scenario not triggering. That probably should have been fixed immediately. That's a known feature. That was a back-of-the-box feature a couple years ago. But it took them till March to fix that. And they added a couple new scenarios. I mean, the scenarios are what they are. Again, it goes back to either the Ultimate Team getting updates, franchise-wise, franchise not getting any attention. This is what they're going to do every single year. It's cool that they added the quarterback breakout scenarios. And, that was pretty much it. It was bad. This was a bad title update. I think, I clowned on it. Social media kind of clowned on it. I thought that was appropriate. Now, looking at the final update, it's still a little light. I think that's very fair to say. But what I'm going to do here in today's video, the back end of this video, is I'm going to test something here just to see. Just to maybe we'll give them full credit before we full on go negative Nancy here. Here's what we got in the final title update for Madden 22. They added new scenarios in the franchise mode because that's just what they do. They increased to unlock percentage for scouting, additional goals for the staff, and they fixed something known as the red route wide receiver screen. Again, I play as much Madden as anybody. I don't know if I've ever ran into that, but hopefully that's something. There's general stability fixes. That'd be cool if this means they fixed it where it crashes every offseason. I hate that. Anytime I do a rebuild, anytime I do anything, crashes every single offseason, like around the draft. I don't know what it is. I always thought it was probably the 5th year scenario bug, like when the 5th year was supposed to be popping up, it would crash your game. And then they fixed that and it still crashes. So I hope that's that, because that actually would get a thumbs up for me. If they can fix the fact that it crashes every single offseason. Looking at the scenarios they added in here, I mean, you guys can go check out the patch notes yourself. They added something called X Factor Hot Streak, Team Turmoil, Unstoppable Force, Weak Link, Bye Week. That's actually, what's this one? Team bonding. Team bonding to build chemistry, self-scouting. I don't know. That could be cool. Kind of cool to check out. But ultimately, when we get these scenario updates, it's planned, it's expected, and, cool. Let's see if they come in, when they actually trigger. They added some updates here to your coaching staff, so you get more staff points. That's always going to be kind of cool to mix it up a little bit. I do tend to feel like some of the coach goals have been lofty, like you get one, it's just like, all right, I'm playing the number 1 team, and I'm gonna, if I'm doing pink slips, I'm a garbage team, and it's still like throw for 400 yards against the Chiefs. It's like, dude, my quarterback's Davis Mills. Give me something a little more attainable here. So that's kind of cool. But the big thing that we want to focus here on this final update is this right here, the scouting tuning. As much as I don't want to say we, because it does seem like there are some people in the Madden community that like the old way of scouting more. Maybe I'm in the minority and I like the new way. And it's the most Madden thing to say. It's unfortunate, but I think the way that they're going with the new scouting update is a great start. It's a great base. It's a great foundation. I'm very disappointed that we didn't have all of these various title updates this year, constantly tuning and tweaking this scouting update. What we got here in the final update should have been what we got literally in the first update. Feedback was provided after the first update of the new scouting that the values needed to be changed. We need to get more information. Why did it take this long to do this? This is literally like click, 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 submit. That is how you adjust something like this. Why did it take this long? Why did we not have more tweaking, more refinement of this brand new massive feature during this title? That's incredibly frustrating. I don't know why or who decided to go that direction. Very poor decision. Because now we're going to Madden 23, hoping that everything got fixed, versus seeing it in Madden 22 get fixed. Because the feedback has been there. This is something that's very, very small. This is something that absolutely, it's variables, it's numbers. It's not like you had to reinvent the wheel. It's not like you had to reinvent a feature. These are just little number variables where you're buffing and tuning a little bit. Why do you have to wait till April? This should have been done before Christmas at the latest. But we are here now, and I'm going to test it out. I want to see how well it fits. General scouting is now 10% of information, and they've increased the tier bonus for scouts. Tier 1 scouts go from 2% to 5%. Tier 2 scouts go from 5 to 15. Tier 3 scouts go from 10 to 25. So it fluctuates a little bit, but we'll just say on the old scouting variables, when you didn't get any of these boosts, you're 2, 5, and 10, you guys might have a different number. You can feel free to reply in the comments. I can use that as a different gauge. But in my opinion, I feel like between 3 and 6 players, come draft time, I'd have between 3 and 6 guys that are 100% scouted. And usually it tended to be the guys that, at mid-season, you could bring 3 guys in. You could focus on 3 guys. And at the end of the year, you could bring 3 guys in for a private workout. If you were lucky and you had the right tier scout, it felt like you could probably have between, at most 5 to 6 guys 100% scouted going to the draft. Maybe that could be a point or 2 higher. Maybe that could be a point or 2 lower. We'll take an average and we'll say 5. That'll be the number we use as we go in here. I'm going to test this stuff out. So 5 players scouted 100% that you can make 100% confident. Every single one of their abilities that they're going to provide for you. You know what round they're actually going, like what the value is of their actual round, not their projected round. That's way too low for a feature that already has barely enough to do from week to week to week, which is something that needs to get tuned. It feels like that's what you get at the end of the season. It's like I did nothing and I don't really have any information still. Like far too often, I'm still just trying to look at certain testing drills at the combine to determine if a player is good or not. I don't have that information available to me. So we're going to see if this actually fixed that a little bit. We're going to go out the number of 5, and hopefully we can get somewhere in the area. Like, I want to see 15. I want to see 15 guys be 100% scouted. So let's pop into Madden 22 franchise mode and test the scouting tuning. All right, so we're going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. We are going to try to actually treat it like the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to hire scouts in areas that we are weak. So we have 3 tier 1 scouts. Let's get those in. I think that it's fair for Philadelphia to, I want to get middle linebacker. We need middle linebacker badly. So I'm going to hire actually a couple middle linebackers. We're going to cheese. Like, I literally want this to be as authentic as if I'm trying to scout the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're going to go middle linebacker. We're going to get a safety scout here, because I think we need safeties. Now we can get a tier 2 and a tier 3. So for a tier 3 scout, we have Derek Johnson. We have Kenny. I think we should probably... We'll go Jamel Lyons here. We'll get a quarterback. We're not 100% sold on Jalen Hurts right now. And then for tier 2, I would like to get a safety corner. I actually do have safety here in Rodney Harrison. So we're going to act... You know what? Let's get corner, just to have a little bit of variables, because we do have the tier 1 safety scout. So we'll bring in Aqib Talib, tier 2 for corners. So my staff room is set. We have quarterback, tier 3. 25% boost. We have corner, tier 2, 15% boost. And then we're going to have 5% at safety, and I guess technically 10% at the middle linebacker spot. So the next step in scouting, which will highlight another big issue right now, which should have been tweaked, is you go to the, all right, second week of the preseason here. You're supposed to assign your scouts to the regions. That's cool, right? All right, nice, man. Look, all these regions. I don't know anything. There's still no breakdown. They're still gathering info. What does that mean? Like, is this added difficulty? Like, I just don't know why there's this guesswork. Give me what the regions are. Give me the strengths and weakness of the region. Week 2, instead of week 2 of the preseason being the prompt to assign your scout to a region, week 2 should be the area where you generate your draft class and you start to learn about the regions. And then week 3, you can tweak your scouts again. I think that'd be the next step. Week 3 is when I can fire and rehire my scouts based on the strengths and weakness of the draft. And then that week 4, the preseason, that nothing week, is when then you finalize everything and assign your optimized positional expertise scouts with the strengths and weaknesses of the regions of the draft class. Right? Does that make sense? Because now, week 1 is when you get to choose your draft class. And for the sake of just testing this out, we're going to use and keep a generated class. So here is now when we unlock all the players. We unlock what regions they're in, and we can look at the region breakdown, which is fine. This is nice. This is valuable information. As you can see, the boosts are in effect. We have a 15% scouting boost when scouting corner. It's actually a strength. Okay. We have a 25% scouting boost for the quarterbacks, which is actually also a strength. In the central region, we have safeties. Doesn't seem like that's a strength and or weakness. Again, with better tweaking, better tuning to how the scouting works, this could have been optimized. I could have had, instead of Joe Russell, a safety expert. I would have known that for my central region, I would want, probably for Philadelphia, I'd want to look maybe left outside linebacker or the wide receivers. Then we have the northeast region, it's middle linebacker. And unfortunately, again, another region that I just couldn't optimize. I should be able to. And we have our final linebacker, and it's for middle linebacker, and of course, right outside linebacker is a strength. So at least, technically, I don't have any weaknesses for my top scouts. And I am kind of pumped that at least for this experiment, my tier 2 and tier 3 scouts kind of line up with the strengths of a given region. But again, this should be tweaked. This should be optimized by now. So as we're right now, fresh out the gate, week 1, we have, for our region anyways, one of our quarterbacks is already at 45% completion. Everyone else is your generic for, out of region 20%. So that's already a good start. Being almost halfway through a player on week 1. We have McPherson here. We already have his throw under pressure. We have, obviously, the scouting report, the player notes have already been kind of fleshed out there. We're still working on the ratings. We're going to have to wait to the combine. But I will say already kind of promising. I think we might have, and there's probably some people that say 5C4, having 5 guys 100%, using that as your baseline going in. That could be high. I think it's even fair to say, more often than not, I probably have 3 guys that I have at 100%. So, maybe we'll use that number as well, between 3 and 5. I really want to see 15. That's kind of the number I'm hoping for. Okay, week 2, we have regional focus scouting. Let's do that, sure. Let's really hammer it home here. So for Jamel Lyons, we want to look at quarterback. For Central, we have Joe Russell. Again, we're going to maybe get a little idea of what you get still with the not efficiency boost, unfortunately. Or should we just say screw it and go full efficiency? I think it makes sense for this because we're trying to stress test it. How many can we get 100%? We should be sticking with not necessarily strengths or weaknesses, but what we got. So for Philadelphia, we want to look at free safety. And then for the Northeast, we're looking at middle linebackers. And then for the Southeast, we're going to be taking a look at the middle linebackers as well. We're here at week 8, and it's the next thing to do as it relates to scouting. And it's going to be our national scout, so we are going to focus on the corners with the strength. But again, just still not enough to do. Like, I haven't touched anything after this point. I still think there needs to be, and I wish I had the exact recipe, the exact suggestion that there needs to be, but there just needs to be more to do. Like, I've had one scenario where your GM wants to highlight one prospect. That's still not enough between weeks 1 and 2 all the way to mid-season. So we're now here at week 11, and this is our next opportunity to focus on 3 players that we can take a look at here. So I'm interested to see what some of the variables. Look, we already have 100%. We have 100% on a quarterback here, McPherson. We're at 50 on our. This is going in the right direction. So let's do Harrington again. We're looking for quarterbacks, so we'll take a quarterback here. Another one of the top 5s. We've also focused this draft on safeties, corners, linebackers. So for middle linebackers, we have a couple 75s. Again, wasn't the strength. The linebackers never lined up. The linebackers and safeties never quite lined up, so I guess this is a good idea to see when you kind of deal with the issue, which is not necessarily being able to optimize your scouts to the players and the strengths of the draft. We're still sitting at 75% for a lot of the draft class. We did get corner. Look at that, man. Look at that. This needs to get like a round of applause. We have the whole cornerback room scouted. I am pleasantly surprised with this. So now I think it's fair. Let's go. Let's get the top safety. Let's get the top 2 projected safeties. We'll get those guys. So those are going to be our 3 players. Man, I'm a little bit hyped right now. So now we're at the stage of the offseason. The first kind of thing you can do is see the combine results. And again, previously, this is where you're looking at it like, man, I don't know anything about these players. And, you know, the areas that you can focus on, I will say, because I do have a quarterback scout, I feel like I should have a little bit more. Like, you really are only getting at this point 100%. But you know what? I'm not going to say, you know, I feel like the non guys that I'm directly scouting, because I still picked a quarterback specific scout, like these guys should be around 75%, maybe a little more than 50 on the dot. But again, I'm pretty happy seeing these 100%, and I do want to see at the end, right before the draft, just how many guys we have 100%. I think that 15 target, that's looking pretty good. That number might hold up. All right, let's see if the private workouts, I don't know if this is going to change it too much. But again, suppose that I am looking for the quarterbacks. I want to take... Now, we did bring in Harrington for another focus scouting, and he'd feel like he didn't move any. Pretty sure I had Harrington as the first, like one of my first options there, and he's still staying at 50. Weird. All right, here's the moment of truth. The scouting tweak that, to get the negative out of the way, took way too long and should have came patch 2. Let's see. We went in with the general number, we'll say between 3 and 5 players. On the old variables, on the old values, you'd have 3 to 5 players 100%. I said with this update, I want to see 15. Now, taking a look, we do actually got 390s there for the extra quarterbacks that we kind of took at the last second, and that's still pretty solid. 90%. I'll take 90% because felt like before, these secondary guys that you weren't focusing on, you're still getting like 60, 65, 70. 90's a lot better. But I want to count. We're going to do a head count here. How many players do we have 100% scouted? How many players can we make full confidence? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 just in quarterbacks. Now, these are the positions we did not priority scout at 50%. Again, it could be open to debate whether that's too low. Well, that's exactly where it needs to be. I still think, I don't know, man. Maybe you need more scouts. Maybe you need 5 scouts instead of 3 scouts, kind of deal. Because I don't know. I still feel like I should know more than what I do for the players that I didn't specifically scout. But again, I think the solution to that is just having more than 3, and that could be something that they bump up next year. So what we had 5 quarterbacks, I think 4 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks. We weren't scouting any of these linemen, unfortunately. So we're gonna go to our next position, which is middle linebacker. And we got a bunch of 75s. So that kind of stinks. Bunch of 75. I mean, again, it's still better than the lower numbers, but I'd like to see that be a little bit higher. Look at the corners. We got the entire class, I felt like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll tack on the quarterbacks. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So we have the whole class. So that's good to know, I guess, is that if you really, really have a position that you are hurting on badly, make sure your top scout and when you set your national focus, it kind of lines up. Because that is, that's nice. That's a good boost. This right there inflates our numbers a little bit. The safeties, we have 100% there for Yates, couple 75s thrown in the mix. So it seems like you get about 75% scouting completion on not perfect scenarios. My safeties and my linebacker scouts weren't going to areas where those guys were particularly strong, and we didn't have a lot of top prospects there, the regions and stuff like that. So you're getting about 75% for a not ideal situation with your scout and prospect, which is still not bad. You know, I'm not going to overly complain about that. But the fact that, like, your big dogs, we got a lot of information on quarterbacks. We got the whole corner room. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I think it's fair to say that, like, I still would like to be able to cast a bigger net, and I think you solve that by adding more scouts. But going from, I almost want to even count the guys that are 90. You can still pick these 90 guys with some sense of confidence. You know what I'm saying? At least I'm getting a couple abilities here or there. I think if we're going to eliminate how long it took to get this update out, just what we got, what kind of update we got here today, April 21st, this is getting a thumbs up from C4. This is a nice little improvement for the backstretch of Madden to help out franchise modes, help out the scouting feature that needs a lot more work, a lot more refinement, a lot more tuning. It's getting a thumbs up for me. What do you guys think? Do you think this solves some of the issues that we've had with scouting? I still think, again, the order of things, the unoptimization of a lot of things, the lack of just doing stuff in the season, it needs to get better for the scouting, but at least they, hey, you want a positive? You want one positive is that there's no way they're going to go back. This, what we have right now, as we're going to finish the scouting in Madden 22, this should be what we start in Madden 23. So starting out Madden 23 with this new scouting, at least we're going to have a lot more information on the players. So there's a little bit of a win there. But I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, we have an episode of Pink Slips that will be dropping around supper time, so make sure you stay tuned to your sub boxes for that one. If it was your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I'd very much appreciate it. Smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys back here on the next one. Peace out.